If you look back through history, something becomes really clear. Every single time there's a major shift in how we power our world, a new industrial empire is born. The move from coal to oil, for example, created absolute titans that defined the 20th century. And today, we are right in the middle of another one of those massive world-changing shifts.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the pattern, right? We moved from an economy powered by coal and wood to one totally dominated by oil and gas. And now here we are at another one of those historic turning points, the transition to a world that's going to be powered entirely by electricity. So this begs the question, a huge question, really. When the very foundations of the global economy are shifting under our feet, a new power always emerges. So who's it going to be this time? To answer that, we're going to dive into a really fascinating investment thesis, one that makes a bold, historical comparison and argues that the next great energy empire is already taking shape right in front of our eyes. So here's the core idea, the big thesis. Tesla, it's not just a car company, not even close. The argument is that it's actually becoming the modern version of Rockefeller's Standard Oil, the one company positioned to completely dominate the new energy landscape. And that parallel is, wow, it's pretty powerful when you think about it. In the 20th century, you had Rockefeller. He controlled the flow of oil, and by doing that, he basically moved the world. The thesis here is that in our century, electricity is the new oil, and Tesla is the one building the entire ecosystem to control it. Okay, so how? How is Tesla actually pulling this off? Well, the first big piece of the puzzle is all about owning the entire energy supply chain. This is something called vertical integration, and we're going to break down exactly what that means. Let's be honest, when you hear the word Tesla, what's the first thing you think of? Cars, right? Sleek electric cars. But that is a fundamental misunderstanding. The cars, they're just the visible tip of a much larger energy machine. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. This shows you the whole system in action. See, while competitors are just buying parts and sticking them together, Tesla is controlling every single critical step. It starts at the very beginning with refining lithium, which is basically the new oil. Then they use that lithium to manufacture their own, cheaper, more powerful 4680 batteries. After that, they generate clean power with solar and store it in these huge battery banks. And finally, all that energy gets consumed by its own vehicles. It is a completely closed loop. But so what? Why does owning the whole chain even matter? Well, it all comes down to one thing, an absolutely massive, sustainable cost advantage. Because they control every input, they can dictate a price that their competitors, who are stuck buying parts from other people, they just can't match it. It's an insurmountable lead. Okay, so that's how the energy gets made and controlled. The next part of this thesis is about how this integrated system is being used to completely rewrite the rules for huge industries. And we're going to start with the lifeblood of our economy, logistics. The Tesla Semi, it's not just another electric truck. You have to see it as a complete economic disruption. Think about it. Maintenance costs could be cut in half compared to a diesel truck. That's an incredibly powerful financial incentive for the entire shipping industry to make the switch. But wait, these giant electric trucks, they're going to need a ton of power, right? So of course, Tesla is building the infrastructure for that too, a whole new kind of gas station called the megacharger. And this isn't your standard EV plug at the grocery store. We're talking about a system so powerful it can charge one of these massive trucks in minutes using the energy of a small town. But maybe the biggest change, the most revolutionary one, is something you can't even see. For something like 70 years, 70, pretty much every car on the planet has run on a 12-volt electrical system. It's just been the standard, locked in for decades. So what did Tesla do? They moved to a 48-volt architecture. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, it means they need way less copper wiring, which is expensive, it's much more power efficient, and it brings down manufacturing costs. In essence, Tesla is creating a new technical standard for the entire industry. And just like Standard Oil did a century ago, everyone else is probably going to have to follow their lead. All right, so we've got energy production covered and we've got industrial standards covered. But this thesis takes it one final step into maybe the most forward-looking part of the whole puzzle, the future of labor itself. So you've got this vertical integration, you're setting new industry standards. What's the last piece you need to truly dominate this new electric economy? The answer is the humanoid robot Optimus.
See, you have to remember that a Tesla car isn't really just a car. It's a sophisticated robot on wheels, and the AI that drives that car, it's now being put into a body that's designed to build the very infrastructure this whole new empire depends on.
Think of Optimus as a machine that literally turns electricity into labor. It's designed for the tireless, repetitive work that you need to scale up this new electric world, like assembling those 4680 batteries 24/7. And the long-term vision, well, it's way bigger. It could potentially solve huge economic problems like labor shortages in manufacturing, logistics, and maybe even in things like elder care. Okay, so let's pull all of these different threads together and look at what this means as a complete investment case for the long haul. The entire foundation of this argument rests on one simple but incredibly powerful trend. The world is on a one-way street from fossil fuels to a fully electric economy. This isn't a maybe, it's an inevitable, irreversible wave. And when you look at it this way, the difference becomes, well, it's crystal clear. Your typical competitor, they're focused on one thing, putting cars together and selling them. That's it. But Tesla's integrated system, it covers the whole shebang. From raw materials and batteries all the way to AI and robotics, it is a fundamentally different kind of company. So what's the bottom line here? The thesis tackles the issue of stock price volatility head on, basically saying, look, that's just short-term noise in a much larger long-term shift. The message is clear. When a paradigm is changing this fundamentally, the time to get involved is during the transition, not after it's all complete. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. If we accept the premise that we are actually living through a historic energy paradigm shift, one that's comparable to the rise of oil, it forces us to ask, where is the most significant and lasting value actually going to be created? Is it in the final product that everyone sees? Or is it in controlling the entire ecosystem that makes it all possible?